So today we're going to talk about what it means to be a non-binary person. And before we do, I would just like to say that I am not a non-binary person, so this conversation is going to be my understanding of what that means, and so you can feel free to disagree with me. So the word binary means something having two parts. So then it makes sense that the word non-binary means not related to or involving two things. So when it comes to gender, that means outside of the terms of traditional binary oppositions, so male and female. So the easiest way for me to explain that to you is to draw it out. And I don't have access today to a whiteboard, so I have my handy clipboard and a marker, and I'm just going to show you so we can make a little sense of this in the simplest, easiest way. So if you think of gender as a spectrum, and on one end of the spectrum you have people who are male, and you have females at the other end of the spectrum, and then right in the middle you have gender neutral people who don't identify as either male or female. They are just gender neutral. They don't, neither or. But all the way across you have this big line, right? We'll call this the spectrum. And there's all sorts of people who fall somewhere in the middle, right? And so those are what we consider to be non-binary people. People who don't identify one way or the other. And so the way I like to think about it is that you might have somebody who starts somewhere, right? So maybe they start in the middle at neutral, but they lean a little bit feminine. So they might fall right here. Or maybe they lean a little bit more feminine than this person, and so they might fall maybe right here. Or they could start in the middle at neutral, and they might lean very much more masculine, and so they fall somewhere right here. Or they could start masculine, but they lean a little bit more feminine, and so maybe they fall somewhere over here. You also could have somebody who thinks that gender is the way they express themselves, but they're not tied to any expression of gender at all, and how they express themselves changes daily. So one day maybe they're over here, next day maybe they're over here, another day they're over here, another day they're somewhere over here, and it changes like every day. So for them, gender's just what it is, and they are not tied to any definition of what that looks like. And so being a non-binary person is different for every individual non-binary person, like what that definition means to them, and then how they use their understanding of that to then define their gender expression, which is how they present themselves outwardly to the world. And so thinking about that, when it comes to the pronouns that non-binary people use, it differs for every person. So you could have non-binary people who use gender-neutral pronouns, they, them, their, or you could also have non-binary people who use regular feminine or masculine pronouns, or you could have non-binary people who use a combination of both. I have met non-binary people who use they, she pronouns or they, he pronouns. And so it's really appropriate to ask a person, what are your pronouns, instead of assuming that they use a particular set of pronouns just because you have been given information about them and told that they are a non-binary person. So this is the simplest way I could think of to express my understanding of what it means to be a non-binary person, so that you could have a better understanding of what it means. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment box. If you disagree with me and you want to have a civil conversation about it, you can also feel free to drop them in the comment box, and I hope this video was helpful. Thanks!